death of Jim Reeb, it deserves to be remembered. It did some waking up, and that was necessary. There had to be some white cost. And this was it, no question about it.
The story of James Joseph Reeb begins on the day known as Bloody Sunday, March 7th, 1965.
All the state troopers were lined up across the first red light past the bridge.
Some 600 civil rights demonstrators tried to march from Selma, Alabama to Montgomery, the state capital. They were brutally attacked by state and county authorities.
So you had the state troopers charging in nonviolent demonstrators with tear gas, beating folks over the head.
And I saw it when it happened. I was really horrified by what I saw.
So was Jim Reeb, a white, 38-year-old Boston minister and activist who watched news reports on the violence from his Dorchester home. Martin Luther King Jr. asked clergy of all faiths to come to Selma in solidarity. It was a call Reeb could not resist.
But I actually said to Jim, you go down there, you could be killed. They particularly don't like northern whites.
He went anyway, leaving behind his wife and 4 children. Reeb and hundreds of other civil rights activists marched Tuesday, March 9th, in a city thick with racial tension. Many local whites deeply resented the outsiders' presence in their town.
Black life is not valuable, and anybody that values black life is considered a traitor. Therefore, they're deserving of death. They're deserving of whatever happens to them.
March 1965, 3 Unitarian ministers were assaulted in Selma, Alabama.
One man with some kind of a stick or a pipe or a club swing this stick violently at Jim Reeb, and it hit Jim on the side of the head, and Jim immediately fell to the pavement on his back.
As a result, Jim Reeb was killed.
His death moved a nation. Martin Luther King delivered the eulogy at his memorial service.
So we thank God for the life of James Reeb.
The march to Montgomery finally happened by federal order. Congress passed, and President Johnson signed, the landmark Voting Rights Act, ending the disenfranchisement of millions of black voters. That December, 3 Selma men were tried for Reeb's murder. They were acquitted by an all-white jury in just 97 minutes. That was almost 50 years ago. Reeb's death faded into civil rights history. But Selma, a quiet city of about 21,000, is still wrestling today with its past.
The people that are in Selma now, they didn't cause any of this stuff. There are very few people alive today who were involved in the actions that took place here in Selma in the 60s and the early 70s.
Last year, the FBI revealed that it was reopening Reeb's case in hopes of bringing justice to his family. This, together with the re-examination of other unresolved killings from the civil rights era, has sparked a debate about whether to keep all this painful history alive or just get on with things.
People who are accused of crimes have a right to a fair trial, but people who are victims also have a right to a fair trial. And Reverend Reeb did not get a fair trial. He was tried by people who were glad that he was murdered.
The blacks and some of the black radicals, they'll never forgive. They're always this is going to be the focal point.
Early last month, the FBI informed Reeb's family that there was nothing else it could do. Reeb's case was closed forever. But in Selma, history is unlikely to recede so easily.
I think our younger generation doesn't value what the movement achieved, the doors that were open. We all need to be educated, on James J. Reeb and the sacrifice that he made.